is called the life force. And we're looking at a beautiful picture of a very large salmon. So, what about salmon? Adult salmon start their lives in freshwater streams. They live for a time in rivers as they're getting a little larger, and then they migrate down those streams to the ocean where they live their lives. Pretty unusual for a freshwater animal to be able to adapt to a saltwater environment. It's it's only a few animals in the world who have this capacity to change their physiology so dramatically. So they're out in the ocean for 3-4 years or so, and then they instinctively return to where they were born to deposit thousands of eggs and to die. And both the males and the females come because the female lays these eggs and the male fertilizes them. Okay. So they swim upstream against the current over rocks and waterfalls and all the stuff that men put in their way, dams and various other things. Sometimes gaining as much as 7,000 feet in elevation from the ocean. Amazing, okay? And several hundred miles in some cases to reach this area where they were born and where they'll deposit their eggs and then die. Okay? And of course there's also fishermen to catch them, and bears. You've seen the pictures in Alaska. This is happy days. This is happy hour for bears, okay, as they go out there, scoop the salmon up as they're trying to get upstream. So there's a pretty high attrition rate. A salmon can jump as much as 12 vertical feet. Now think about that. This, to get up to the next level, pretty remarkable. And the journey's really rough. It takes everything they got to do it. Many of them die on the journey, or when they arrive, they look pretty beaten up. Their flesh is marred, they're scarred up, they don't look too pretty at that point. So why do they do it? Why do they do this? As far as we know, no salmon has ever said, "The hell with it. I'm just going to spend another year in the ocean where I'm comfortable, and I'll do the salmon run next year if I feel up to it." They just do it. So whether salmon understand in the way we think of understanding, there's a basic drive, which we can call the life force, which compels them to undertake this almost impossibly difficult journey to continue the cycle of life. It's built into their very being. So here you see a picture of a bird you've probably never seen, and the reason you've never seen it is called the Arctic tern. And since none of you watching this are in the Arctic, or near it probably, you haven't seen this bird. It's a really pretty bird. So the Arctic tern, many birds migrate, sometimes for great distances, but the Arctic tern is the long-distance champ. Birds nesting in Iceland or Greenland travel 44,000 miles every year, okay? Birds nesting in the Netherlands, because of the route is somewhat different, travel 56,000 miles in a single year. Now, this is some serious, the average Arctic tern will travel 2.4 million miles in its lifetime. It's kind of unthinkable, So these birds fly from the extreme northern hemisphere to the Antarctic and back again every year. They mate for life, and like the salmon, they return to the same area where they were hatched to breed. So Again, as far as we know, no Arctic tern has said to him or herself, the flight is long, dangerous, and exhausting. I think I'll just skip it this year and stay where I am. I'm pretty happy here. And just like the salmon, whether the Arctic terns understand what's going on and the way we think of it, there is a basic drive, this life force which compels them to undertake this really, difficult journey. Imagine traveling 44,000 miles and all the obstacles and storms and predators and everything that would be dangerous and difficult to do. In addition, just the distance and getting pretty damn tired. So now you have a picture of a blue whale. Blue whales are amazing. The blue whales are not only the largest animals on the planet, they're the largest to have ever lived on the planet. A blue whale is as long as 3 school buses lined up end to end and weighs more than 40 elephants. Okay, this is a big creature. Okay, many of them migrate thousands of miles from warm water where they breed to Arctic or Antarctic water. They go north or south. While they're traveling back to the Antarctic, where part of the migration, they don't feed for up to 4 months at a time. And this is a big animal, where does it get the energy to travel these thousands of miles without even eating anything? I probably don't need to repeat that no whale has ever said, I'm not going to do this. This is too damn hard. They do it. Well, this creature is definitely different on a different scale. What you're looking at now is a worm. It is called Caenorhabditis elegans. For a lot of reasons, they call it C. elegans to get rid of that terrible first word. It's a worm. It's about 1 millimeter long. It has no blood. It doesn't breathe. It has a mouth, and it has something on the other end for expulsion. And why are we looking at this worm? It was the first multicellular organism to have its whole genome sequenced. So scientists got right to it. The neurons, this is the thing, the neurons of humans and C. elegans are almost identical. But there is a big difference. C. elegans has about 300 neurons. We have about 100 billion. So they're not going to solve any complex mathematical problems. However, this is kind of Ripley's Believe It or Don't, scientists were able to train this worm to balance a pole on its tail. Remember, it's only 1 millimeter long. It's a very small pole. And keep it upright while it was crawling. Okay? All right? So why would a worm with just about no brain at all make the effort to learn a trick for scientists? Why not just ignore them and go say, I'm happy crawling around and doing what I'm doing? It, again, is this kind of built-in thing in all organic forms of life. Organic, non-organic. There's a rock, that is not organic. That is not going to change or grow, or there's no life force in that rock or that stone. But all organic life we see around us seems to have this energy, this life energy that has the potential to grow, to change, and to evolve. If we put a seed in the ground, a little tiny thing, what does it do? If it has the right conditions, it immediately starts doing something when the conditions are right. The roots go down, the leaves come up, it pushes through the dirt and does its thing. It expands and grows. And that is, again, a manifestation of the life force. Only humans seem to say no to the life force pretty frequently. We decide not to grow. We decide not to change. We decide not to evolve, which is really natural. That is doing what's natural, is to evolve and to change. It's natural because we're part of nature and the life force exists in us just like every other living thing. We're designed to swim upstream. We're designed to challenge ourselves, to grow, to push ourselves, to evolve. All the great accomplishments of our species that we admire are reflections of saying yes to the life force. Every story we hear or movie we see where the underdog refuses to back down or be satisfied with mediocrity is a testament to the life force. And we're moved by it because we recognize it in ourselves when we see these accomplishments. So the word, you know the word anesthesia. You know, you go to the hospital, they give you anesthesia. But it really comes from the Greek word which means without sensation. So here's the question. Have you been anesthetizing yourself? Have you tried to become non-organic? Okay. Have you ignored your own life force? You know, it's there. It's in every one of us. So this is the time and the place. You're here in a community which the entire design of this community is to awaken your life force, to excite your life force, to get it bubbling inside of you so that you challenge yourself, you take emotional risks, and you allow yourself to get out of your comfort zone and to grow and to change. And so this is the place, this is the time, and you're here. So tap into that life force and grow and change.